Hey everyone, something I've noticed from playing in lower elos is that when players get behind, they tend to play extra safe all the way through the game, not just in laning phase. Also, when someone is feeding a lot by pushing side lanes or however they are dying, the other players immediately blame that player for the loss. This always bothers me, because you guys have to understand something that might seem kind of obvious. The enemy nexus will not just explode on its own. You have to make plays and punish mistakes. You can't just turtle in base and wait for them to kill themselves, even though you basically can in low elo of course. You just won't win anywhere near as many games as you should. Basically, you have to make things happen and it can be dangerous. If I have an O10 Tryndamere on my team in low elo and he's constantly split pushing, that's totally fine with me. But the teammates that are just playing not to die drive me crazy and the game can be so much easier. So today I'm going to show you exactly what I mean using a game from my master's account, because even in this elo, players don't understand this extremely important macro concept. And it's these secret tactics that you're about to learn that actually help you climb ranks. Most players don't realize trying to mimic pro play or high elo streams will only slow you down. They don't teach you how to exploit low elo like we do, which is necessary for carrying teammates from hell. That's why we can guarantee you'll climb 5 divisions while actively using our service at skillcup.com. It actually works. So check us out after this. In the meantime, let's uncover the secret strategy in today's guide. This game should have been a very easy win, but we got very close to losing purely because of bad macro and the stuff I just talked about. But let's get into it. I'm actually Poppy top in this game, but that doesn't matter. The macro concept I'm teaching here will apply to any role, and it's one of the most important things I've ever taught you guys. But let me catch you up on what has happened this game. When it comes to my own lane, my Olaf ganked the Rengar a few times and he got the kill each time. After this particular gank, my Olaf dropped Herald and we got top tower. A little bit later, I come back to lane and kill the Rengar and get my first kill. At this point, Rengar is 0-5, and to be honest, behind Rengar is pretty useless. Keep this in mind for later. Anyways, eventually we kill 4 of them at Dragon. Then I take Herald while they are dead, and our Kate takes their mid tier 1 tower. Alright, let's stop here. We now have a 5,000 gold lead, but more importantly, we have all of our tier 1 towers up, and we took all of the enemy tier 1s. So even though 5k gold isn't that big of a lead, it's still big, don't get me wrong, we have way more map control than the enemy team, and way more time to push and rotate for objectives. Let me explain. Think about it this way. With all of our tier 1s, if the enemy team pushes a wave, it can go only to halfway on the map, right? Then it hits our towers and starts pushing back towards them. But for our team, we can push waves all the way to their tier 2s. Then we don't have to be back to catch the waves on our tier 1 towers for a while with how far they have to push it. Basically, to put it simply, we should always have a tempo advantage over the enemy team with all of our tier 1s up in winning solo laners. Tempo advantage just means we can move first after pushing a side wave. That's the key here, pushing a side wave. Alright, let's keep going now. While taking Herald, I see Qiyana pushing bot. Then, the enemy Kennen ADC, it's still AP Kennen, but they were in bot lane, shows pushing bot right after and Qiyana leaves. This is where, if you're our mid laner, LeBlanc, you need to know exactly what to do. The enemy Rengar is 0-5, the enemy mid is bot lane, and the enemy ADC is bot lane. LeBlanc needs to use the fact that they sent multiple people to push a single lane to push top lane. Then she can take her recall if needed, or whatever else she wants to do. But she shouldn't be recalling when they dedicate resources like that. If she doesn't push it, think about it. Our top wave just slowly pushes to them. Not only are we bleeding farm while that's happening, but the enemy team then has no minions on the top tower to go collect or defend. So the person that would collect top, in this case Rengar, can just look to make a play somewhere else. On top of this, let's say Rengar does decide to just go top. He doesn't have that far to push to get to our tower and start pressuring it. These waves need to be pushed. It's such a small thing that affects so much more than you realize. She's going to recall instead, so look where our top wave stops. But there are multiple pieces here, so let's keep going. I'm heading down to bot to defend the tower. With Kennen pushing like this, I was thinking the enemy jungler might be here, but this is still kind of low elo, so I wasn't quite sure if the enemy jungler would know to be here. Either way, I tried to stun Kennen before he got the tower. This wasn't really a good play, and I was basically just banking on being tanky enough to survive, even if Diana was here. As expected, she actually was here, and she flashes my ult and kills me. Anyways, after I die, this is where my brain hurts watching. This is the macro concept I'm talking about. You should think about the game completely different after this. Watch how my teammates respond to what just happened in bot lane. They run from mid to bot all together and get the Diana kill, all while my eyes are just burning. And remember, this is in Masters. What my team should have done was push mid. The enemy team devoted those resources to bot. But we have Kate, Yuumi, and Olaf in mid already, ready to push. So they can easily just take mid tier 2 tower and maybe even keep going. Not only do we get a tower, but the enemy team has to come back and defend. They can't outpush a Kate and an Olaf. This common mistake of going for a kill like my team did instead of pushing reminds me of the classic advice of go for objectives, don't chase kills from ages ago. It's not the exact same, but it's very similar. So not only did we only get one kill and they got a tower and a kill, look what's happening in mid lane. Qiyana made the smart play of just pushing for the tower instead of running to bot. And because LeBlanc didn't push the wave far enough in top lane earlier, Rengar is already on our top tower as well. Also, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm the greatest and they suck and I'm playing perfectly or whatever. I knew Diana could have been there, so I was just disrespectful. But I'm just teaching you guys how important this concept is. But anyways, they take our mid tier 1, which is such an important tower to defend, and I TP top to defend our top tier 1. Now that we have learned some macro, let me test your knowledge. After they kill Diana, we know Mumu went to base, Qiyana is mid lane, and Rengar is top lane. What should LeBlanc do next? Recall and defend a tower, rotate mid, or push bot? This should have been easy. Push bot. Same exact thing as when she was top earlier. LeBlanc is falling into the common trap of trying to constantly move to fights instead of putting her own pressure first. This makes the enemy team have to be the ones to ditch waves for fights like she's doing. Watch what happens here. I TP top, Rengar ignores me and takes the tower because Rengar, and the enemy Qiyana is here and they jump me. If we pause and look at the minimap, if LeBlanc kept pushing bot, she would be crashing waves on bot tower by now, right? Kate is already pushing mid, and Kennen is the only one on the enemy team that can defend because Diana is dead. So, what could my team do instead of trying to chase the Rengar and Qiyana that just killed me? They could just take mid towers, or if the enemy team decides to defend mid, then LeBlanc can even work on the bot tower. The enemy team will have to respond to this. They can't just let the towers die. If we see what happens, both Qiyana and Rengar just get away. This brings me all the way to the intro of the video when it comes to teammates feeding. Remember, this Rengar that's pushing top and Qiyana pushing mid are both behind. Rengar was 0-6 and Qiyana was 1-4. But they were pushing and pressuring. And because my teammates had a very poor understanding of these macro concepts, they were making a comeback fast. I would much rather have teammates that push constantly and die trying to do it, than ones that play like this, or the more common low elo scenario, ones that play too scared. I'm going to give you a more difficult test this time. After the Rengar and Qiyana get away, LeBlanc is heading to top like this. What should she do now? Push top, push mid, push bot, or invade with our jungler who's going to their red buff? LeBlanc needs to push top lane for the same reasons as earlier. Pressure with the wave, then move into the jungle while the enemy team has someone collect or defend top wave. LeBlanc this game just refused to push waves. Not only is she hurting us macro wise when it comes to pressure and tempo, but her own gold income. That's another part of all of this. This concept will get your average CS per minute numbers up without you realizing it. Instead though, she does this, wasting time, taking our mid wave that should go to Caitlyn, and then didn't push any side lane. And for this last example of how pushing waves is so important, we're again looking at this LeBlanc. After she takes the mid wave that was for Kate. Kate is going to recall since LeBlanc took mid wave, and we can see where the next mid waves are just by looking at where our next mid wave is. LeBlanc should push mid wave before she does anything here, literally anything. This gives that pressure and tempo advantage we keep talking about. The enemy team has to get that wave. This is also called mid prio, something you've probably heard from other videos, and it might be the most important macro concept in the game. But instead, she just runs the bot lane. Doesn't seem like a big deal, right? Well, look what happens. Qiyana comes mid and pushes the wave since LeBlanc didn't. So now they have mid prio. This lets Qiyana walk into our top jungle like this. Now our Kate has to collect mid wave at our tier 2 tower, giving the enemy team the tempo advantage. So they take that time to sit in this brush. And they get the kill on Kate moving into the jungle. This is what I mean by these waves doing way more than you realize. All of this stuff I'm teaching you applies to any elo. If LeBlanc pushed mid, Kate would never have to collect that wave on the tower and be late into the jungle. And Qiyana would never be able to move into the jungle like that before Kate. Alright guys, so I think you get the point here. Push your waves. Stop running around doing nothing. Don't be so upset with your teammates that are constantly pushing sideways and dying. Use their pressure to take other objectives. And this is just a taste of the super effective strategy you'll find at skillcap.com. If you're serious about improving and wanting to rank up fast, then check us out. Link in the description below. That's going to wrap this one up. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.